Hey, what's going on? This is Zach Myers from the band Shinedown, and I am clearly in a bouncy house right now, and you are watching Guitar Mania.
Zach, welcome to Vienna.
Thanks for having me.
From Rock in Vienna, and how was the show today?
It was fun. We thought we were supposed to go on at 2:30. Apparently we were supposed to go on at 2:20, and we weren't ready, so we had to cut a couple songs. So we only ended up playing like 5 songs, but it was a lot of fun.
Was a great show. How did you guys enjoy it?
I thought it was great. The crowd was great. I'm surprised there was this many people here that early. So it was like, I saw a lot of Shinedown shirts too. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys, you've got a new album with you. Why the title?
Threat to Survival?
Yeah. What's the background of the title?
I don't know. I think it was more a protection of rock and roll in its form, I guess. I think it was more about kind of just keeping this rock and roll thing kind of sacred, and you know, everyone says rock is dead, or some people say rock is dead anyway, and I think it was more about that. It wasn't a play on words necessarily. I think it was more just, you know, and I think the album cover kind of relates that as well, where the snake is protecting the egg, or you know, some people think that it's trying to eat the egg or whatever. It's kind of open to interpretation really, but to me it means the protection of what rock and roll is. And
great album. Debuted very high in European charts as well, and in the US too.
Yeah, it's been great, and the touring of it has been awesome too, so thank you.
How can we go back to the production and songwriting process for the new album? How did you devise your guitar parts?
It was really cool because normally we all go into a studio with one producer for 4 or 5 months and just sit there with the same guy every day. So on this record there were 4 or 5 producers, and what that means is like Brent would be in a studio, and then I would be in another studio, and then maybe Eric and Barry would be in a different studio. So it was really cool to kind of just sit and very calculatively come up with parts for the record that were different. And we you know, the last 2 records had tons of guitar solos, and this one we just kind of wanted to stay away from that. So it was more about rhythmic, like what is going to add to the song rhythmically, and that's what we kind of did. It wasn't about showing off and trying to do all these crazy parts, you know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with guitar solos, and being a guitar fan, we'll love it. But you've got a strong point there. I mean, the rhythm is what drives the song and gets the whole thing going, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was more about what can you say with 3 strings other than shredding on the bottom half of the guitar. You know, like our last 2 records had so many solo. Every song almost had a solo, so it was like this one we just kind of wanted to go out of the box. Not that we dislike solos or we wanted to do something that wasn't what we're used to, but it was more just about what the songs needed. Usually those songs will kind of speak to you and say, this is what I need, this is what I don't need. And I think that it was more about the rhythm of it all and trying to like figure out, creating space is the way I look at it. I like to create a lot of space with my guitar playing.
Any tips for rhythm players how to create space?
I think the biggest misconception of guitar is knowing when to play. I think it's actually knowing when not to play is the best way to describe it. I think if you know when to not play, that's the best part.
In terms of how did you yourself develop your rhythm chops and your rhythm playing? Is there a particular exercise that you thought was particularly beneficial for your development?
I watched Stevie Ray Vaughan on Austin City Limits. And I used to always, even if I wasn't playing the guitar, I would hold the strings down, or he put like a sweatband over the strings, and I would watch his hand when he plays Cold Shot. And it was this circular motion. And that's kind of how I learned how to play rhythm guitar. And then as I got older, like I got more into like James Hetfield, who I think is probably the best rhythm guitar. James Hetfield and Malcolm Young are the best rhythm guitar players of all time. I don't care what anyone says.
Malcolm's so underrated.
Malcolm is, as far as rhythm players go, Malcolm is probably the best there is in the world, followed directly by James Hetfield. Just amazing rhythm players who can play in that pocket and not overplay. You know, they create this concrete that you build the house on, you know, and I think that's amazing. I've always thought of myself as both. I'm not a lead guitar player. I'm not a rhythm guitar player. I'm both. I try to create both things. So.
And I think you're doing a fantastic job. It's in life. It's just amazing with one guitar to get so much punch into the performance.
Thank you very much. That's something we developed with the rig over the last little while too, to make it kind of throw it off and make it a little stereo to where it sounds better every time we do it, you know. So
you guys are going with Five Finger Death Punch on tour, and again, and this is also part of an initiative also to bring back rock and roll and to help young bands to get some airplay. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that it was just it was kind of a no-brainer as far as the tour goes, because we put 3 shows on sale in the United States in May, and they sold so fast that we knew we kind of had to make it a tour. So it came together really easily. And Nikki Six from 6 a.m. is a really close friend of mine. So bringing out 6 a.m., we're bringing Bruce's son out and as Lions. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. You don't bring this show to Europe though, do you?
No, I mean, you never know. Not yet, but it could very well happen next year. I hope it does. I would like to.
Quick word on what's the difference for you guys for playing live in the States and Europe?
I think the crowds get a little bit more into it over here. I think that they do this jumping thing where everybody jumps in. Like, they kind of like, you don't have to prompt them to do things. Like the hand wave thing, like they do that on their own. They jump on their own. It's really cool, and they clap on their own. So it's a lot of fun.
That's why we're in a bouncy.
Yeah, that's why we're in a bouncy. We just jump ourselves. No, I love playing over here, and this is definitely one of my favorite places to come and play. So.
Quick word about your equipment. I understand you're playing Paul Reed Smith guitars?
Yeah, always, since the beginning of Shinedown.
What's it that attracts you most, and what is the...
I've been with them since I was 14. I'm 32, so it's just as I get older, especially, I appreciate quality over quantity. And if you ever go to the PRS factory, I mean, it's just people who play guitar, hand-making guitars.
Is it true that you have 200 guitars at home?
It was. I sold about 35 to 40 in the last couple years, just because they were guitars that I hadn't even seen in 10 years or something. So it's at about 160 right now. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And what are the gems among your collections?
I have a 68 335. I have a 58 Les Paul Burst, which is very rare. I have a 54 Strat that I love. What else? Just got a 93 BB King Lucille that I've been playing every day. But a lot of old SGs.
Do you use these guitars also when you're going into the studio?
Yeah, the 68 335, probably the main guitar on the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about amps?
Live, I've been using the Fractal and Marshall and Supro, so a mix between all that. And then in the studio, we used just a ton of little combos, old Rickenbackers, Supros, a thing called a Stinger, some old Fender stuff, some old Gibson Falcon stuff. Those were a lot of it.
Amazing. What a collection. I'm trying to keep my balance.
That's all right.
Now, one final word of wisdom maybe from you about, or to our viewers who want to make it as a successful professional musician.
I think you have to be open-minded. I think you have to listen to all different types of music. I've never been a guy who's been like, I listen to rock music, or I listen to metal music, or I listen to everything. I listen to hip-hop, I listen to country. I listen to those genres more than I listen to rock music. So I think it's about being open-minded, learning your craft as best you can, and just trying to hone that, and be open-minded to playing other styles of music too. I think you should always never box yourself off in a box of a certain genre that you play. I think you should be able to play everything. So,
on that note, thank you so much, Zach. All the best for the remainder of the tour.
Thank you.